Hey guys, it's Kevin Lee here. So today we're going to talk about the striking methods for street self-defense. So there's a lot of mythology about how you can go about street fights, right? There's ways that we can talk about the grappling portion, the striking portion, the takedown portion, the prevention, the evasion, and so whatnot, right? So, but specifically today, I wanted to share with you guys is the way that I like to talk about striking methods, right? Now, of course, there's a lot of information out there about how you can get out from a headlock, how you can get out from a position where someone pinned you to the wall. We can talk about how to prevent a fight, even from starting from the position, right? So, but today, the goal here today was we're going to talk about specifically the striking methods, right? I am not a big fan when it comes to punching on the street, just because we don't know where we can land a punch to, right? And of course, being a smaller guy, sometimes my punch may not be effective, right? And of course, if you have never punched anybody bare knuckle, it actually really hurts. You can potentially fracture and break your knuckles. So what I really like to do is actually do either 1, open palm strike, 2, finger jabs, or 3, do the hammer fist, right? So, and I'll break this down one by one, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is a palm strike, right? A lot of people think about that palm strike just going to be pushing the hands forward just like that. There's a lot of ways you can do about it, right? The way I like to do is when you're going to connect your fingers together like so, right? Because sometimes I'll see the guy do palm strike like this, when your fingers are open. But do be very careful with this type of striking, because if I miss a target like that, I could potentially break my fingers. So what I like to do is, this is more like a traditional Wing Chun method, where you have your fingers palm together. Then what you do is you're going to be striking with the meaty part of your palm. And rather than just striking like this, you're going to emphasize more on the palm rather than the center of your hand, right? So I'm going to think about the pushing from the elbow and just strike forward like that. But of course, just like how you do your punches, you should never strike the palm like this, right? Because that's sort of like just kind of high-five somebody. What I want to study today is the mechanic off your foot and of course off your hip. And we all know this. By mechanics, I mean, I don't want you guys to kind of go push your hands out like that, because that's really easy to kind of palm somebody in the face, right? What I'm looking for is a potential pivot, right? I want you to pivot off the ground. At the same time, your hip is going to project forward in the same direction that you're going to be palm strike to. Now let's look at this carefully. Number 1, your elbow should always align with the palm, okay? The bottom of your palm. Sometimes we call this a palm heel, right? So you should never just kind of palm the guy down. So in the position where I'm getting a fight, because you want to get ready too. So when I get ready, say, hey, I don't want trouble, my hand goes up like this right away, right? Because I don't want to hold a fist. Just in case someone down the line or down the street might be taking pictures, you get caught doing this, you could be in trouble too. So the first thing I do is, hey, I don't want trouble. My hand is going to be open. I'm showing that no trouble here taken. The second shot is, if aggressor gets really aggressive and come towards you, land the hands on you and start to attack you, then the first thing I'll do is I'm going to turn my hip right into turn my hip forward. So I'm going to get ready for the first pivot. The second thing I'll do is I get my palm and then just get ready to strike forward like that. It's no difference than you just do a right cross, right? The hand goes forward. The difference is, instead of holding a fist, I'm going to be doing a palm strike just like that, okay? So my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist, everything should be aligned together like that. So instead of just palm strike like this, I want you to go palm strike. You notice my thumb doesn't open, because there's actually a lot of incident when I'm actually practicing my palm strike on the target. I've actually jammed my thumb multiple times, and it's not the best experience. So the best thing you need to do is understanding the palm connection and just learn how to strike. You can strike vertically, horizontally, either way is okay. Sometimes you can even do diagonal like that. Like, see my hand? Diagonal line, horizontal line, or vertical line. In some cases in Wing Chun, depends on the angle, you can do a body shot like that. But the palm will point more down angle like this. So my palm is more lower like that, okay? As opposed to this way or this way. This way, a body shot body shot with a palm. So first thing you can practice is your hands up, right? You can palm strike with the lead hand. You can also palm strike with the rear hand. Just think about this, right? If you wouldn't punch the wall like this, right? Why would you punch someone's face, right? This is a hard punch like that. But I can palm this really hard without getting injured. So my palm, that's what you can do, right? But you don't want to punch the wall. Imagine punch someone's face, you might potentially hit the nose, the teeth, or the side of the chin, right? You just want to think about palm strike. So the first thing you can do is learn how to palm strike. You open your hand, 2 palm strike. You can palm strike to the head, palm strike to the body. Then you can follow through with the elbows later on, okay? So that's first method. The second method is we call buji, which is also known as finger jab, right? So you're still in the same position, right? My hand is up, I'm protecting myself. Hey, no trouble, right? If the guy lands his hands on me, well, maybe potentially put me to the wall. As opposed to strike to the face, because the guy could be bigger than me. So instead to strike the guys out, well, maybe try to knee the guys out, right? I'm gonna take my hand, fingers joined together, and just shuck my hand into the eyeballs, right? You can shuck the hand, we call finger jab. And of course, you may not hit it directly into the eye, you might hit to the side of the eyes, but the whole point is this will buy you time. When the guy gets hit, the first thing they will do is they're gonna flinch backwards, and they're gonna release the grip for just that split second. So I can use a finger jab as a setup, then I can wipe the hand, wipe the body, and then palm strike into the head or into the body, right? The finger jab is an entry to sort of open the line. Imagine the guy holds you down like this and pinned to the wall, right? The first finger jab, either you land or you don't land, but it's gonna buy you time. You can hit 1 to the eyes, 2, you can aim for the throat. Once you aim for the throat, palm strike forward, then you can follow through your knee or elbow, right? So that's the second method I really like. And when I was training jiu-jitsu, this is sometime last year, we'll talk about this with my instructor. If you imagine you're grappling with anybody, right, and all you gotta do halfway there, you just poke their throat. You'll see their reaction goes, oh crap, right? Because in the same environment, even though you're grappling aggressively, you just poke their throat instantly, the hand will pop out. The body doesn't respond the way we think, right? So we're looking for the reaction that people typically don't get. So if I poke the eyes, or maybe I attempt to poke into the neck with a throw, you're gonna get a very stiff reaction. While you get that reaction, then you can palm to the head, palm to the body, or maybe knee to the groin, right? So that's the number 2 method. The third method, which is called the hammer fist, right? If you look at my hand, there's a lot of meat on the bottom of my hand or on the side of my hand. There's not so much of meat protection to the knuckle. So I can either palm strike to the wall like that, or I can actually hammer fist into the wall like that. So this will be the same thing, right? As opposed to straight punch like that, I'm actually gonna let my hand go through and then hammer. You can do what we call the forehand or a backhand like that. So the same position comes here. I just turn my body on the side and just hammer down this way, hammer down this way, or hammer down this way. Just don't forget that if you want to strike, always a good way to protect yourself is protecting your hand like this. So using your hand to protect your head like that. You should never strike like this, right? Just in case this guy swings back at you, boom, it could be a double knockout, right? So the good way to practice is your hands up, right? You can practice the palm strike, left and right, sideways palm strike, body palm strike, right? And then you have your finger jab left, finger jab right. You can practice your footwork to move out, but you notice my hand is always up like that. The third way to practice is hammer fist, right? You can hammer with the forehand, hammer with the backhand, hammer with the forehand, hammer with the backhand, right? And that's 3 methods we can talk about, using that as for self-defense. Now, if I was on a wall, right, you gotta get used to this too. You should never be flat like this to a wall. This is the same mechanics if you were on the ground. I should never be on the ground when my body's flat. I want to sort of curl my back. I'm using my hip to go against the wall. So that's sort of my frame against the wall, right? My hand is here. I'm not leaning on the wall. I'm using this as my base. So that way, just in case anything comes in, I can move out or I can move out. And then either straddle the palm, BUG, or I can grab into a knee, right? So 3 basic. Number 1, palm strike. And it doesn't matter if you want to palm strike with a vertical strike, horizontal strike, right? Diagonal strike, or maybe to the body, right? Either way, you can create the combination. Sometimes for the street, you know how we can hook? You can also slap, right? But just don't slap this way. The mechanic of a hook is like this. When your hand is about the same angle. You should never hook like that because you're gonna break your wrist. Same thing, when you slap somebody, my hand's gonna be either this way. Some system will teach you how to hook this way. But do be careful with this because you can hurt your finger. So you can slap somebody like that. So slapping, keep your elbow high. Slap, and then palm strike. So if you do boxing or you do Muay Thai, it is a great way when you practice on with the beginners. Just let them go open palm. Palm strike 1, palm strike 2. That's just all. It's almost equivalent to Muay Thai, like jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook, right? Cross, hook, cross. You can insert a BUG as opposed to a jab. So you can poke the eyes out with a jab. Then you follow through a cross and a hook. Then you can follow through with a knee, right? I think having some sort of basic striking methods in your pocket is always a good way to, to prevent yourself getting hurt, right? Because you never know. People might put you to the wall. They might be fighting in open space. They might follow you into some kind of closer space. So having a good methods of striking, either palm, finger jab, elbow. This can potentially help your life, right? So, but the goal is not to have, you want to make sure you're practicing all the technique. You don't want to just learn the technique without practicing. The best way you can do this, have a partner either holding pads for you or hold some kind of objects for you so that you can actually practice your striking, right? You want to have a good mechanic, posture. Your position is important. Have a good posture, have both hands up, elbows in. Learn how to strike first. You'll notice my foot doesn't go flat. So make sure your body is not turn 1 and 2 with a palm strike. You can do a hook. You can do the finger jab like that. You notice my hip is gonna move like that, okay? The third way is just hammer, 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 right? You can be covering legs on the wall because I'm already in the covering position. You just hammer a guy down, hammer the guy down. See the hand? Just like that, hammer, hammer, hammer. Then you can palm strike, push, then you can knee, and do whatever you want, okay? So that's 3 striking methods I really like, and I hope you guys like the video today. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.